Let me show you how to get it. You wanna be like this. You wanna be like this. Let me show you how to get it. You wanna be like this. You wanna be like this. Let me show you how to get it like me. Get it like me. Cause the best is what I really might be. Let me show you how to get it. You wanna be like this. You wanna be like this. You wanna be like this. Let me show you how to get it. You wanna be like this. Let me show you how to get it. You wanna be like this. 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 You wanna be like this.
Today's video is going to be kind of like a tutorial style video of how I get a filmic look on my videos. We're going to be using a plugin that's called Dehancer. Now they actually just came out with a few more updates where I'm actually going to go over on what this update does to your image. So we're going to jump into DaVinci right now, and I'm going to go over a few shots and just show on how to use this tool to get a filmic look. Some of the tools that are inside the Dehancer, and some of the tools that you don't really even need to use to even get a good clean image out of your shots. So let's jump into DaVinci and we will get started. So right over here I have Michelle doing a little workout inside of a garage that I recently shot for Kinetic Cleanse, which is a physio company based out of Burlington. So this is shot on my Red, as you can see right here, R3D. But what I like to do off by hand is to go into my color tab and change some of my settings. And that is going to clip, going into legacy, and changing this to red color 2. And then we can change the log 3G10 or 3G12 later on, depending on what kind of look you want to go for. Now we can keep this as the IPP2 or the red gamut based right out of camera. This is what it would look like, but we are going to do something a little different, and I find I get better colors, a little bit more saturated colors, better skin tones when I change to these settings. So let's go to red color 2, and then we can change that later on. So I got my node right here. We are going to scroll down and we're going to go to Dehancer Pro version 6.3.0. Now on the right hand side we have all of our inputs, tools, and sliders that we can choose from. So right off by hand we're going to choose our camera. So like I said, we shot this on the Red, choosing the Red Komodo 6K. And right there, this is kind of, or let's click the unclick the film. So right here, this is going to give you kind of, I'm just going to unclick all these stuff here. I'm going to take the grain off. Right here, this is going to give you like a basic Rec 709 look, I should say, if we just change the temperature over. Now we have all of our film inputs. We simply enable this. And then we have the slider here of, we can do a push and pull, which basically gives like different intensity on a color management on each film profile. And as you can see, there's so many different style of film emulations that we can choose from. I like to use the Kodak Ultramax. The Kodak Ultramax is pretty nice. So we're going to keep it right here because as we can see up here, I like to keep this a little darker bluish. So we're going to unclick that so we get that out of the way. Now the film developer tool actually just came out, I believe, on the weekend. This lets you adjust the contrast and gamma correction in your image instead of the actual contrast in the overall image. So as you see, as I drag this, our contrast gets a little darker, not her skin, but mostly the contrast all over in the entire image. So we're just going to leave that like that. Now film compression, this actually lets us adjust our highlights. So we're going to enable this, and as you can see right here in the background, we can actually get, depending on the shot, we can actually get more info out of the shot. But this was actually shot on a cloudy day, so there's not that much info to grab in the background. So we're going to leave it bright like that, because if we crush those highlights, it looks a little bit weird. So we're done with that. This allows us to change the blacks in the image to make them a little bit more blacker. So as you see, I control the black point. Her t-shirt gets pitch black, but then also up here in the image, this is getting a little bit too black, which is crushing the image, which I don't really like. So we're gonna just keep it like that. And as we're done with each settings, we're just gonna click it and then it's gonna minimize. Now this is where all the magic happens in the print tab. We have Fujifilm, we have Kodak. I usually like Fujifilm because I just like how the color gives me more of like that real filmic blue tint. Now we can adjust to give it a little bit more of a warmer tint, or we can go a little bit blue or colder, I should say. So I'm gonna go right here, and then we're also able to adjust our exposure, contrast, and then color density, which is just almost like a little bit more of a saturation kind of thing. But as you can see, her skin tones, they're a little orange, so I just want to keep them a little bit more natural. So we're gonna unclick that. Film grain we'll touch in a second. It's unclicked. So color head. This is where this tool here actually reminds me of Visco, the Visco app. If you've never edited photos on your app, you might not understand where I'm kind of coming from, but this kind of allows you to adjust your different color tones and shadows and highlights. So we have our actual color head, which is yellow, magenta, blue, cyan up here. We're not going to touch that. We're going to touch more of the shadow tone, mid-tones, and highlights. So as you see, as I move this over, I'm getting more of a warmer red look. Now I really like what it's doing to these lights right here. It's almost blooming it, but it's not because the blooming is off. So yeah, we're gonna just keep playing with this. See until I'm playing with the film grain. See what kind of look we can go for. I actually like that one right there. So now, as we can see, as I was saying in the highlights, we can change our colors. We can go from the blue, and this is changing the tone, or to the orange. Now, depending on the kind of look you're going for, one of these are going to be decent for whatever project you're shooting, or if the director doesn't like the look. That looks cool in my opinion. Now, if we add film grain can make everything look a little bit better, especially if we put the film resolution, which kind of mimics the real film grain all over the entire image, instead of downloading a film grain adjustment layer and putting it over the image. Film resolution is going to make it show a little bit different, and it's going to stick to the image a little bit better. We're going to take the film grain off. Now I'm going to play this clip. This is what Dehancer is going to basically do. It's going to give you a nice real filmic look. Log right there to a nice filmic look. Now you can copy your settings and paste it onto a new clip. So we're going to grab our still. Now we're going to grab another clip from a different shot, which will be this one. This was all handheld, by the way, and if you guys are interested in watching this project, it will probably get posted this week. So now we can go to our color tab. Now this is our recent grab that we did. Now as you can tell, it doesn't look as good as this one. Lighting is totally different, first of all. Now when you go to another clip, it's going to obviously be a little bit different. But as you can see, like, we're getting a nice real film look right there. Now we might just have to boost our exposure up. We can either do it there, or I actually like doing it in the print tab. Looks a little bit better, and right there we're getting a nice real clean image. Now it might look a little too orange or warm. Now then, that's where our shadow tone will come in hand, and we can adjust the intensity of that, or we can just click this and go to a different Kodak, and right there we're getting a totally different look. We're gonna simply just add a Rec 709, and then I'm gonna actually show you guys the difference between choosing from the red Dragon Color 2 and keeping it with the red gamut or the original color space that the red Komodo films on. So we're gonna just put a basic Rec 709 on here, and we can use let's use LUTs from Tropic Color. This is your basic Rec 709 look. Now all the adjustments you will have to do in the raw tab right here. For an example, the color temperature, shadow, or actually we're going to keep that there and just expose. And then we're just going to change our contrast a little bit. Now that is your basic Rec 709 look, and then we're going to compare it to, so this is basically the difference between the Rec 709 on the right and then the filmic look being on the left. As you can tell, I mean, I really like the look that Dehancer gives us right off the bat. Now, if you want it, you can still use Dehancer as a Rec 709 tool. Basically, all you have to do is, we're going to go over here to the, this is the film one. So now all you have to do is uncheck the print and then the film. Right there, we have a basic Rec 709 look. We can uncheck this as well just to give us more of a natural look. And then you're still able to change your contrast and everything if you wanted to use the print adjustment in there as well. So this is another good shot for an example. So now the settings might not work perfect because they're indoor. Color temperatures are obviously going to be a lot different. So we're going to grab this and then see right off the bat, we know obviously it's not going to match or look as good. So what we're going to do is going to reset the node. We're going to add Dehancer back on there. We're going to start everything from scratch. We're going to click Komodo 6K, that. This we're going to choose the Ultramax. Film developer. First, we're going to take off the film grain because that kind of just throws my eyes off. Fujifilm. Bring up the exposure. Now we can either go for a warmer look or a blue, but I kind of like the warmer look. Like I said, it's just basically a preference, and then we're going to play with the shadow tone to get to blend in. Now right off the bat, these are looking like really good colors. So right here, we still are using the red dragon color to color space. Nice filmic look. And I don't think there's any other app out there that is going to give you this close to a film look. If you guys are interested in purchasing this, or if you guys are a little hesitant on grabbing this plugin for Dehancer, let me know in the comments on what you guys think. But until then, we'll see you guys in the next video, and I'll let the video play of this actual full edit that you can see here on the bottom of what it looks like with me using Dehancer to get that film look. So we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.